today's learning objective is I will be able to calculate compound interest. So here's your warm up, press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through it. So increase £350 by 0.2%. So first of all we need our percentage multiplier. So we're going to, because we're increasing, we start with 100% and add on at 0.2%. That gives me 100.2. Divide it by 100 gives me 1.002. So to increase in one go, I'm going to get 350 times by 1.002. So 350 times 1.002 gives me 350.7. Remember your pound sign, and money is to 2 decimal places. Question number 2, decrease. So we need to start with our 100%. So 100 minus 0.8 gives me 99.2. Make it a decimal by dividing by 100, gives me 0.992. So to decrease in one go, I'm going to times £272.50 by 0.992. So 272.50 times 0.992 gives me £270.32. Okay, so today's lesson we're looking at compound interest. Now this is the interest that the banks use, and our key point here is that compound interest is worked out 1 year at a time. Okay, so if we look at this, our first worked example, calculate how much money you have in your account after 4 years if you invest £680 at 2.5% annual compound interest. Okay, so what we do first of all is underline our key points. So we've got 4 years, £680 at 2.5% annual interest compound. Okay, so this means we need to work it out 1 year at a time. Get the answer, go again. Get the answer, go again, 4 times. But because we can work with multipliers, there is a quicker way of doing it. So let's work out our percentage multiplier first. So our percentage multiplier to increase by 2.5% would be 100 at 2.5 is 102.5. Divide it by 100 gives me 1.025. Now just be aware, you'll normally be dealing with very small percentages because this is what banks actually use. So we've got our percentage multiplier, so I'm going to do the amount. So if I wanted to increase it by 2.5% for 1 year, I would times it by 1.025. That answer would tell me how much money I would have after 1 year. Then I'd need to times it by another 1.025 for 2 years. Then I'd times it by another 1.025 for 3 years, and that would be 4 years. Okay, so actually we could simplify this by just saying I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, so it could be 1.025 to the power of 4. Now if I work that out, I get £750.59. So looking at this, we can actually come up with a formula. And our formula is the amount times by the percentage multiplier to the power of the years. That is our formula for compound interest, and hopefully you can see where that formula actually comes from. First year, second year, third year, fourth year is the same as writing it to the power of the years. Okay, I have an example for you to do here. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through it. Okay, so let's underline our key words here. So we've got 3 years, £680 at 1.2% compound interest. So we start by working out our percentage multiplier, which is going to be 100, add 1.2, which is 101.2, divide it by 100, gives me 1.012. So I've got 680 times by 1.012 to the power of 3. Okay. Now, if some of you are unsure how to enter powers here, I'm going to show you how to do it quickly. Okay, so you do 680 times 1.012. Now you do have a squared button here, but we need to do the power of 3. Now this button here is x to the power, and it's got a little black box with it. Okay, so if you press that, you can actually enter any power that you wish. So in this case, I only need a 3. Press equals, and I get 704.77. Now remember your pound sign, and remember money is to 2 decimal places. So you might want to make a little note of that on your calculator, this button allows you to enter any power. Okay. So our next thing then is compound decay. Okay, now the point here is compound decay is the opposite of compound growth. It is when something gets smaller over time. And when this is applied to money, it's known as depreciation. So don't be put off by the word. You've seen it now. It could be decay, it could be depreciation, it could just say decrease. It all means the same thing. So I have a worked example for you here. Okay, so a car was bought for £8,000. Its value depreciates by 20% each year. What is the value of the car after 10 years? So our key points here are your £8,000 depreciates, means it goes down 20% and 10 years. So always start by doing your percentage multiplier. So I'm going to start with 100, goes down, so minus 20 gives me 80, divide it by 100 to get your multiplier. Okay, so now we're going to do amount, 8,000 times by the multiplier to the power of the years. Okay, so we press 8,000 times 0.80 to the power, remember that button we just spoke about, a 10. So that gives me £858.99. Okay, so I've got one for you to do now. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through it. Okay, so your key points here are 5,000 depreciates, means it goes down 12%, 7 years. So let's start by doing our percentage multiplier. So you've got 100, depreciates means it goes down, so minus 12 is 88. Make it a decimal by dividing by 100, gives me 0.88. So we use our formula. We've got £5,000 times by the percentage multiplier to the power of the years. Okay, so let's type that in. I've got 5,000 times 0.88 to the power of 7 gives me £2,043.38. Remember, money is always to 2 decimal places. Don't forget your pound sign. Okay, our last part of this then is other problems. So Sarah invests £200 at 1.2 compound interest per annum. So there's another word there. Annum just means annually, Banks use it quite a lot, don't let it confuse you. How many years will it take for her to make £20 interest? So now we're looking at years, we're not looking at the money, we're looking at how many years it will take. So first of all, let's start with our percentage multiplier. So it's compound interest, so we know it's going up, it's an increase. So add that on, I get 101.2, divide it by 100 to get a decimal, 1.012. Okay, now all we do here is a little bit of trial and error. So we start with a year, pick in a year. So I've got 200, I'm going to try it starting with 5 years. Okay, so I get my calculator, I'm going to do 200 times 1.012 to the power of 5. So if she invests that for 5 years, she's going to have £212.29. I need her to make interest of £20. So that's not nearly enough. So I'm going to try it again, and this time I'm going to try 6 years. Now if you want a quick shortcut on your calculator to save typing it all in again, you can go back up, you can go across, you can delete the 5 and make it 6. So if I put it in for 6 years, I'd have £214.84. So I'm getting closer. So I'm going to try 7 years, so 200 times 1.012 to the power of 7. So I'm going to use my shortcut again. I'm going to go back up there and delete the 6, make it 7. So I've got £217.42. Don't forget to round to 2 decimal places. So I'm getting closer. Let's try 8 years. Okay, so I've got 200 times 1.012 to the power of 8 gives me £220 and 3 pence. So for her to make £20 interest, it's going to take 8 years. Okay, so this is just a trial and error. Use your formula, start at a point and just keep trying until you find the amount of years that works. Okay, I have one for you to do here. So press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through it. Okay, so invest £280, 2.3% compound interest. How many years will it take for him to have £30 interest? So I want my money to go up to 310, that's what I'm aiming for. So my percentage multiplier is going to be 100 at 2.3, which is 102.3, divided by 100 gives me 1.023. So pick some years. Some of you might have started too high, you might have started too low, but you will get there. You just got to keep trying some numbers. I'm going to start with 4 years, type that in, I get £306.66, so not far off. Okay, then I'm going to try 5 years, so 280 times 1.023 to the power of 5. That gives me £313.72. So I've gone over it, so it's going to take me 5 years to make £30 interest. Okay, so now you've got some sheets, you need to download them, complete your exit ticket, and then submit your work to your teacher.